Good day, folks. I have with me one of our seniors, Dylan, whom I have known and very fondly since sophomore year, only because he is so very vocal in all the classes. He always asks a lot of questions, but most importantly, he's a highly communicating individual. He's very easygoing. And he's sort of a veteran to recruitment events. So hi, Dylan. Can you maybe start off with why computer science, why UMass Dartmouth?
Sure thing. Thank you, Professor. So why computer science to start off? When I was younger, I'd taken like one of those intro to programming classes when I was in high school, and it just got my feet wet in computer science. I feel like everyone runs into something related to computer science at some point and they have an opportunity to kind of run with it. That was kind of the catalyst for me, and I really had a great time learning about it. So it led to more, I guess, independent research into it, just Googling some stuff. And by the time I was a senior in high school, when I was applying around, UMass Dartmouth ended up being the best financial opportunity, social opportunity. Was in the region I'm looking for. It was, right up my alley, and it had computer science as an option. So it kind of like all fell into place, I guess, in that sense. I knew I'd been interested since I was a little younger. However, even if you're not interested, if you have no experience, they start out everyone off in the program as if everyone has like a blank slate, I guess. So they treat you all the same, and by the end of your first year, everyone's on the same page anyways, despite whatever your background knowledge may be.
Okay, and I remember that you played football in college. Can you share with us, well, obviously, why football? I mean, you obviously played, but what made you continue? How did you find the athletic program?
Yeah, sure. So when I was in high school, I played sports and stuff, and I really liked playing football. I had reached out to a bunch of coaches in the area, I guess mostly Massachusetts and Rhode Island, and just sent in some film. With any sport, it's not just football this pertains to, it's any athletics. But if you want to keep playing in college, UMass Dartmouth is Division III. We are in the MassCAT conference. That may not mean too much to people who aren't here now, but reach out to the coaches. You can Google their names and their email, send them your film. If they like you, they'll get back to you, and you guys can work together on recruitment opportunities for athletics in that sense. That did have a bit to do with me coming to Mass Dartmouth. I love football. I always knew academics come first, and all coaches know that here. All students know that as well, of course. But I did really like to play, and it just kind of also was part of everything falling together, I guess, with Mass Dartmouth.
How easy is it to be in an athletic program and computer science?
I don't think you definitely have to manage your time appropriately. Don't get me wrong. It's no cakewalk, but it is possible. Totally. I think with any school, it's definitely possible. UMass Dartmouth definitely is a rigorous program, but it's not the end of the world, and it's feasible. So if you plan your time right, you have some sports have like study halls and stuff, which is really helpful, especially for the younger athletes when they're trying to just, learn how to manage their time appropriately. Having like a study hall is really helpful. But even if you don't, setting a time every day to do some homework or to, do the readings for your classes or whatever's coming up around practice, you may not have as much leisure time, those couple extra hours where you have for, practice and film or games or whatever on the weekends. But if you really like the sport, you'll make those sacrifices, and you'll totally find ways to make it work.
How do you find our program so far? So this is your last semester with us. Actually, your last semester for bachelor. You're in the 5-year master's program as well. But we'll talk about this in a little bit. So how do you find the program so far?
I really like the program. I've always, at least my big thing about UMass Dartmouth, I think the curriculums are great. Don't get me wrong about that. But my big thing that makes UMass Dartmouth stand out to me is the professors. Actually, every class always has a professor that's like willing to help you out. I've noticed that with every single class. I didn't have that necessarily in high school. I thought my high school was good, but they're like willing to help you. They want you to come to their office hours. They want you to ask a lot of questions. I was surprised at the amount of like empathy that the professors show when I was here, because they like understand the topics are not the easiest thing in the world sometimes, and trying to pick up on these new subjects. They're very patient with us. Like Professor Belova said in the introduction, I ask a lot of questions in class. But, you're paying for an education, so why would you not make the most of it, But I like the program. I think it's been great. If we didn't have the professors, I would think it's a little harder, but it's all depends on how you are as a student. And if you like to go make those connections, I think it's definitely worthwhile.
Okay. So I know that you were hell-bent, probably I shouldn't be saying that word, but you were very determined to pursue the 5-year program. So just a quick note, we have a BS-MS program where you can earn your bachelor in 4 years and your master's in 1 additional year. So altogether, it takes you 5 years. But why are you so interested in that program? And ultimately now you're enrolled in it.
So I think my first time I even heard about the program, I was a sophomore, and I knew we had to apply a year early or something for it. So I started asking the questions to Professor Belova then, and then financially speaking, for us, it was kind of, for us and the people in the program, it was kind of, I guess, it felt like a no-brainer. 1 additional year of college. As much as I love college, I do eventually want to start making a little more money than I do now as a college student. And this 1 additional year takes 1 year of college, I guess, tuition off. And then you the next year, you'll be able to have a job and start making, industry salaries and such. But if we had done our 2 years for our master's, we would have had some opportunity to maybe be paid as a TA or something. However, even if we took that opportunity for those free 2 years, we still would have made a little more money with that first year. We start working after our 5th year. It's a little confusing when I say it without writing it all down, but it just turned out it was a net profit for us if we do it in 1 year instead of 2.
I remember you and your friends did not listen to me to go into the 2-year which might have been a little bit selfish, but well, I wanted good TAs. But anyway, I agree with the economics, and I know that Grayson, another one of our students, has been very explicit with the economical side of things. So since we're talking about jobs and money, I know that you have had 2 internships so far, I believe. Do you mind just quickly sharing how did you get them? One of them was this last summer, so fully pandemic mode. And I think you moved to California. So would you mind sharing a little bit about that experience?
My first internship, actually, another big shout out to UMass Dartmouth. I applied everywhere for internships online through Indeed.com and those LinkedIn job sites and stuff. LinkedIn Jobs had their own app for a little bit. And I remember applying, I think around 50 places. And I would get a couple emails back, maybe a couple virtual phone call interviews. And then they'd find out I was 19 or 20 years old and didn't have any experience yet. I was like, how was I supposed to get experience without having experience first? So UMass Dartmouth had this job fair, and it was for graduating students, people seniors my age now, but I was a sophomore. And I was like, all right, I'll show up. Maybe one of those companies is looking for interns or something. So I put on my nicest clothes, which was some button down or something, but it was enough. And I showed up, and there were 3 companies that did have intern roles, I guess, that they were also looking for. And I talked to all of them, and one of them, I had a great conversation with the person. She seemed like she really liked me. And I talked to their manager. She had him give me a call, and me and him hit it off. And I ended up interning there for a summer, that following summer, and that winter. And I also worked remotely while in school. They gave me a 5-hour week opportunity. I got really lucky with this internship. This one was awesome. But I wouldn't have had that opportunity if I didn't go to that job fair. So my point being, throughout all this, you should really stretch, I guess, your horizons and how you're looking for internships. Don't necessarily only apply online or only go to job fairs. I really say you do both, or if there's another way to get an internship, if you know someone to network into it, do that, definitely. But you really have to make an effort for it to work, especially with everything being so easy, with everything being digital. Everything being digital, everyone's applying everywhere. It's hard to separate yourself from the crowd. So do whatever you can to separate yourself from the crowd. My second internship, I applied to through Indeed.com. So everything that wasn't working before now worked with this one. That was a fully remote internship. They were based out of San Diego, California, and I wanted to go to San Diego just to travel because I didn't want to be home and risk getting my parents sick or whatever. So I went to go live on my own over there and happened to work that remote internship at the same time, and it was a blast. It was so fun. I would have had to go into the office, which was 15 minutes away from me, but it wouldn't have been the end of the world if I did. I just got to sit in my room and then I could go watch the beach after. It was awesome.